Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, so I had a video come up in my YouTube feed, and I wanted to watch it because, as I always say, like when I get new content come out about XRP, whether I've heard of the content creator or not, I always like to watch it because I like to challenge my thoughts, challenge my beliefs if there's anything that could maybe change my mind, and see if there's something that could maybe change my perspective. And I saw this video, and then I watched it, and then as I was trying to get the video back up to give my my thoughts on it, I found another video. So we've got here Cornelius Jones, and we've also got Crypto AI-man or Crypto I-man. I'm not sure which one it is. And they both say you only need one XRP. And so I'm going to get into this. So I just want to make this clear because, again, like, you know how it is. It's going to happen anyway. It's always the case. But let me just be clear. First and foremost, I'm an XRP holder. I'm very bullish on XRP. And also, anything that I'm talking about here has nothing to do with Cornelius personally or Crypto I-man personally. I'm challenging the idea of what this title is. Yeah, you only need one XRP. So let's get into it then. So I watched both. We'll start with Crypto I-man first because his was a bit of a weird. It was a bit weird because he said buy one XRP. He said you only need one XRP, but then in his video he only mentioned XRP going up to like $39 or $30. And so I was thinking, well, if you're talking about buying XRP, one XRP, and it goes to $39, that's not exactly gonna, that's not exactly gonna be hugely beneficial for a lot of people, to be honest with you, right? But I'm assuming he's trying to, insinuate that it will go much higher than that. I'm assuming maybe he's just thinking the $30 or $39, whatever it was he said, is on a much more short-term time frame. And so, yeah, a lot of his logic was, to be honest with you, really a lot of the stuff that you would, you just hear generally about the current market in terms of like the XRP ETFs looking to lower interest rates, Ripple doing well. It was really like, the usual things that you'd hear about XRP, to be honest with you. And really, that's just stuff that's good for crypto as a whole, not just XRP, to be honest. But Cornelius kind of went into a lot more detail on his thesis, right? And so I'll get into his perspective now because his was a bit more detailed, so we can look into it on a much better scale than Crypto I-man's. So he was talking about his whole thesis is basically based around the fact that he thinks that eventually the exchanges will have no XRP left. Okay. And he's saying that imagine there's a world where there's only 15 XRP left on exchanges. Now you might think, well, why 15 XRP? So basically, I can't remember the exact amount, but you've got to remember that with cryptos, like for example, Bitcoin, you have like one Bitcoin, but you can also have what's called a Satoshi. And so I can't remember how many it is that makes a Bitcoin, but you can say, for example, 1,000 Satoshis makes a Bitcoin. Right, so 1,000 Satoshis makes one Bitcoin. And so you have this same thing with XRP. You have what's called drops. So again, let's just say hypothetically, because I can't remember the exact number, it might be 1 million, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's something like, let's just say again, hypothetically, 1 million drops makes one XRP, right? So this is obviously great for if like XRP was to scale to a really high amount, it might be a thing of, you've not really got enough money to buy one XRP anymore because it's so expensive, but you'd be able to have X amount of drops of XRP, right? And the whole thesis is basically around there only being 15 XRP on the exchanges. So again, if I just go with the hypothetical of, let's just say that's 15 million drops or something like that, whatever. And basically this is because XRP is in so much demand because they're talking about everything being put on the XRP ledger that there's just no more XRP left. And so this whole thesis is basically based around the price needing to be sufficient for these 15 XRP, right? That's in drops. And so he did a bit of maths. He did some maths, and it come to he said in the video 10 billion, but apparently he put a correction in there, and I think he said it was 300 million. So he was saying it'll need to be 300 million per token. So 300 million XRP, right? $300 million would be for one XRP token. And so, yeah, he's basically saying, hey, you know, you'd only ever need one XRP. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, in my opinion, that the idea of this, like you're only investing and buying one XRP, it's just insanity to me. I'm just going to be honest. Like, the thing is, right, and this is what I'll say before I get into it, guys. Look, if you guys want to believe this, then by all means, you buy just one XRP and see what happens, right? Because if you have that same conviction, then why buy any more? You only need that one XRP and you're going to be a multimillionaire, right? So by all means, if you want to believe this, just buy the one XRP and see how you go, right? But to me, this is the thing that this is why I cover this stuff, right? Despite all the negativity that I get. It's not about me attacking these people, right? What it's about is people who see this and think, oh, that's so cool. I'm only going to buy one XRP now. And then they just believe now, I'm going to be a multimillionaire off of this one XRP. And then they might not invest in anything else. They might not invest in any more XRP. And then that's it. And this is why I'm trying to say, hey, guys, like, just listen to me. Just hear me out for just 1 second before you want to just kind of take all this in. Because for me, I think about what if someone was to literally base their whole investing thesis on this video. Like, they think, okay, I'm going to buy this one XRP. I'm not investing in any more crypto. I'm going to keep this one XRP and I'm now going to be a multimillionaire at some point. That's why I do this content, to hopefully show them, okay, maybe I do need to be a bit more careful. Maybe I shouldn't invest more money. Maybe I shouldn't just rely on this one XRP to, you know, get me to riches and wealth. So, okay, like, the first things first, in terms of XRP, you know, coming off exchanges and stuff like that, there was a theory about this very recently that I actually covered. There was a theory going around that there was going to be a supply shock because there was, I want to say it was like, there was only like 15 million. And I know it might sound like 15, they said 15 earlier. I want to say it was like 15, 20 million, something like that, XRP left on exchanges. This got debunked real quick. That wasn't true. There was literally like billions still on exchanges. So straight away, I'm not sure if he's going off of that thought process, but if that is the case, that's inaccurate. And look, in terms of saying, you know, everything's going to be on the XRP ledger, I don't really understand this logic when we can literally see that that's not the case. That's the thing to me. Like, people say this still about like everything's going to be on the XRP ledger. Like, we can already prove that that's false. That's the thing. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, for example, you know, one of the things that he was mentioning here was about cross-border payments. Look, I'm an XRP holder. Just remember, bear that in mind. We have to acknowledge that Swift have partnered with Ethereum to do cross-border payments. So XRP is not going to be handling all the money. They're just not. That's just a fact. Like, Ethereum is going to be doing cross-border payments. Now, I think that's crazy. I'm not here to say that that's a good thing at all. I think it's weird in my opinion, but that's just the reality of it. That's the truth. So when he's talking on this thesis of everything's going to be on the XRP ledger, there's things that have already been tokenized on Ethereum. There's things that's already been tokenized on Hedera. There's things that's already been tokenized on Algorand. Like, there's tokenization happening on multiple chains other than just XRP. So when you're saying everything being on XRP, that's already verifiably not true. So already the things that you're saying is based on a premise that is not accurate. So straight away this falls apart. It falls at the seams. Like, it's just not accurate. And so talking about these exchanges, you know, having no liquidity left, again, for me personally, like, you've already still got the escrow. The escrow isn't something that they can just break and then get all the liquidity out of it. Like, I think it's going to be many, many years in the escrow before it's all released into circulation, right? Because they have it, so it's a timed thing. So every like month or so or something like that, they release a certain amount of XRP from the escrow. So even if we was going to be talking from a perspective of, you know, this happening, the XRP being all dried up, how many gigs is that even going to take to happen? Because there's still XRP available in the escrow. So each month, Ripple could still supply exchanges XRP via the escrow. Now, obviously, it's Ripple's choice if they want to do that, but it's possible. And yeah, maybe they will, because believe it or not, ODL, how ODL works is through exchanges. So here's a little fun fact for you. For ODL to work, they have to have liquidity pools. And who do they use as liquidity pools? They use exchanges. So you're actually talking about exchanges not having XRP, but that would actually impact their whole business model with ODL/Ripple payments. So again, like, it wouldn't really make sense for that to be the case. So this is what I mean, and trying to say that an XRP is going to get to a point where it's worth 300 million per token. Like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. Like, I really don't know what to say on that. I don't know. I really don't know what to say on that. I mean, okay, fair enough. Like, a boy can dream, but I just think reality-wise, like, the likelihood of that occurring is pretty much slim to none. I just, I like, we can do all these maths equations and all this stuff, but first and foremost, a lot of the basis of the information it's not really greatly accurate anyway. And two, like, this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing. I'm going to try and put this as plainly and simple as I can. The truth of the matter is this, right? We can do all these maths equations and say this, and this equals this, and, this happens, it's going to equal this price for XRP. Do you want to know what the truth is? The truth is, there's no maths equation that can tell you what the price of XRP is going to be. There's none. And that's why none of these price predictions or anything that's, people have said has come true. Because there's no way to quantify what a price is going to be. So people can keep talking like this is going to equate to, $300 XRP, or this is going to make a $1,000 XRP. The truth is, nobody knows what's going to equal what price. Nobody. So this is why it's like, you can keep saying these things, but the truth is you don't know. Like, you just don't know. So yes, could it make XRP more valuable, some of these things? Yes, but can you say what price it's going to make it? No. And that's really the truth of it. And so, like, a lot of this thesis from both these creators, to me personally, I'm not buying it. Like, it's just not enough for me to feel in any way swayed over what the reality is. So look, no disrespect intended to either of these content creators, but this is for the people who may see it, and if they're a bit unsure, or, for the people who want to get in the comments and attack me, you guys are going to do it anyway. Like, you guys are going to, say I'm a hater or whatever. That's completely your choice to think whatever you guys want to think. For me, this is really about people understanding the reality of the situation. Like, if you look at how I've broke this down, I've given you information. I've not just said, oh, that's just not right, that's just not accurate. I've actually given you information to show why I don't believe that's accurate. So this isn't like me just hating and saying, oh, this is stupid. I'm saying this is why that doesn't make sense. This is why that doesn't add up. So I hope you can appreciate at least that I'm actually giving you facts and data as to why I'm going against what they're saying. And I'm not just saying, oh, these guys are idiots. I'm really trying to give you information to show you this is why I don't believe that. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But like I said, guys, if you guys want to believe in this, then by all means, just get your 1XRP and see how that works out. Like, if you really believe in that, then have that conviction. Like, you only need to get 1XRP and you'll be set for life at some point. For me personally, I would most certainly not be doing that. I would not, recommend going on that basis at all. But that's for you guys to decide, right? That's for you guys to make your mind up on what you want to choose to believe. So I'll leave it there. But yeah, for me personally, I'm just not buying this, unfortunately. I don't think there's any real credibility to it at all. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.